Hey,
Hey, Charlie, you ready?
ready?
Jack, are you ready?
Let's go.
Tyrus, you ready?
One up.
This is Sketch Zone, the podcast. I want to welcome you to episode number 1. I'd like to introduce you to the first guy in the lineup, Charlie B. Williams III. What's going on, Charlie?
What's up, Carlos? How you doing? My name's Charlie Williams III. I have amazing first, last, and initial. I want to thank you for having me.
You're welcome, son.
I feel myself.
You're welcome.
You like that? You like that?
All right.
I have the longest name. I have the longest name in the podcast.
Charlie B. Williams. What do you do for a living?
So, I'm a professional environment artist. I also teach at the college level, and I also work for cgcookie.com.
Very nice. Mr. Jack, we're going to go ahead and cut him off because I don't know what that was. Jack, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Tell me a little bit about yourself. He's muted. Good. Tyrus.
That'll teach him.
Tyrus, what's going on, my man? Help me.
What's popping? What's popping? You know what I'm saying? I'm here on a podcast. I'm here to represent, do it for the streets. All right, we bring the art. We bring the arts from the street to your computer. We keep it 100 around here. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
I thought you were going to help me.
So why don't you tell them what you do?
Yeah, why don't you tell us what you do?
Charlie's mom, for starters.
Yeah.
Can't believe y'all open the door like that. Listen, all right, so here's what I do. I'm a digital creative with over 14 years of experience. So I do everything from illustration to 3D sculpting. I also teach, create digital tutorials to teach game design and illustration, so a little bit of everything, as long as it's within the art field. Slot gaming, children illustration for books, so I'm all over the place. Hashtag I'm done.
Sorry, I got a little bit of internet hiccup. All right, let's go back to Jack. Jack.
Don't mute yourself this time.
Please keep your finger off the trigger of the mute button. Tell us about what you do. And he's see. Right, that's why I can't take you guys. I can't take you guys anywhere.
I think he's messing with you.
No, I know. He did that on purpose.
Wait,
all right. My name is Jack. I'm a writer and illustrator, but I do animation for visual effects, and I've worked on some recent stuff, Tron Legacy and Transformers 3. So I'm a little bit all over the place too. I'm working on some children's books, but my main thing is animation.
Excellent. And I am your host, Carlos Gomez. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com. I run a comic strip by the name of robotsandaliens.com, and I come from the multimedia end of things, but I do also do illustrations and such. Moving on, that was probably one of the most long and obnoxious intros.
It was amazing.
I got. That's yeah. Okay, so.
We could do it again, and I could just go.
You want to do it again?
Oh no! Oh no! We're good. We're good. We're live. We're live.
Why not?
That's not going to
Let's move into some industry news. Let's move into some. Actually, before we do industry news, let's explain how we all got here.
Okay.
So Sketch Zone was an idea where we wanted to find out, or not find out, but we wanted to get artists more exposure, and not just exposure, but a little bit of feedback. And so I started a website, sketch.zone, and that's where you can go and submit artwork, and then people will be able to come and rate your work from 1 to 10. And the winner, now that we got this podcast going, the winner, you can go to sketch.zone and get all the rules and stuff. But the winner will end up on this podcast, and be harassed by apparently all
Tyrus.
four of
By
us.
Tyrus.
No, the winner's mom will be assaulted by Tyrus.
That's right. The rest of you will be molested by Charlie.
One up.
One up. Don't try to steal my tagline, dude. Get your own tagline.
Sounds good.
You a hater, dude. One up.
Innovator, I like to call myself.
So go ahead and hit us up at sketch.zone and submit artwork and see what people think about your artwork.
And it's all type of artwork, right, Carlos? Or is it just
all types of
sketches?
artwork? There's 3D, 2D, stick figures. Right now we got a young lady who submitted, it looks like a maze.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, that's why we're all here, and we also want to talk about like creative techniques. We want to talk about industry news. We want to talk about hardware, software, all that good stuff. For example, Tyrus, what happened with what was the release today?
Yeah, so listen, last night, ZBrush released 4R7. The new ZBrush is out. One of the cool things that happens with it is now it has KeyShot. The renderer is included. So I haven't had a chance to check out all of the new tools that's connected with it, all the extras, but I will within the next week. Got a couple deadlines that I want to finish, get this work done for, and then I'll be able to take a couple hours and jump into ZBrush and figure out what it can do, you know? So yeah, the new 4R7 is out, and it's free. It's free upgrade, so you can just download it directly through ZBrush Central, or you can go to your ZBrush application, and if you look for updates in the top corner, you'll be able to update automatically, allegedly. Yeah.
It's been
How crazy would it be if they made ZBrush like a freemium? Like you get ZBrush, but to be able to model, to be able to use this certain brush, you have to pay 25 cents.
It's like free.
And then to be able to extrude, you have to pay another 25 cents.
That would be a mess, dude.
ZBrush has a cash shop. Yeah. Yo.
You gotta watch ads.
Catch this sale. 3 brushes for the price of 1.
That's terrible.
I was wondering, maybe it would make it a little more affordable. Because you know how Adobe's got a Creative Cloud now? Mm-hmm. It almost forces you not to pirate their stuff anymore.
That's true. I completely agree with that. And ZBrush is pretty cheap, though, for what it does. I mean, it started off, I think it was $395. Now it's $600. So it's a little over $600, maybe almost $700. But for what you can do with it, it's well worth it. Anybody who sits down and learns it within like a month, maybe 2, you could easily, make that money back on projects or time that you save on illustration or 3D. It's definitely worth it. What they charge, I mean, they could charge. If they were to charge, I'll tell you this right now. If they were to charge the full price, like something like mine, let's say $2,000. I don't think it would affect how many people use ZBrush. I think people would still go and buy it. That's how important it is. And it's a tool that's, like, in my opinion, well worth it. So, Maya, 3ds Max, there are a couple programs out there that you go, yeah, it's worth it. What it does is worth it. ZBrush is right there. Photoshop, if you had to pay $2,000 a pop for Photoshop, would you switch to another program? Nah, you'd probably pay the $2,000 a pop if you could afford it. Or you would do what people have been doing is download it illegally, right? So it's definitely a program that's worth paying for. If they did what Adobe's doing, and see, I don't know, because it's so cheap and it doesn't come with 17 other programs. Like if you did a Creative Cloud, you get so many programs that it's worth the $21 a month or whatever the peasants pay. I don't know. As a teacher, I get like a discount, but it seems to be worth it to me. But I don't know if it'd be the same for ZBrush.
And I think you talking about being a teacher, there's people out there that can learn from you. So that's basically a little cheap pitch. While we're talking about it, I was like, oh yeah, Tyrus teaches this stuff. Allegedly.
Now here's the funny part. This mic isn't on. I'm using this mic right here, but I feel like an MC. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm about to get into something like, hold up, give me that beat. Hold up, turn me up. No. Y'all haters, man. One up.
Hey Jack, have you played with ZBrush at all?
I don't. Modeling is my least skill. I can't in the slightest.
Come on, Jack, you can model.
Charlie, you play with it, right?
Yes. I like ZBrush. I picked it up. I started in Mudbox. That was my entry gateway to digital sculpting, and then slowly moved over. For 3 or 4 years or so, I worked with Tyrus, teaching at the same school. So I started having to slowly move into, learning ZBrush fully and not just dabbling in it in the evening time. So yeah, and I like it. Once you get past that interface, it's so intuitive that sometimes it could be a little confusing, but once you get past it, it's really good. I love it for hard surface stuff. So I'm really big on hard surface stuff, not necessarily as much organics, but using ZBrush for that, getting in there and using all the alphas and stuff like that, and the noise and stuff like that, making rocks and stuff like that. It's really good for all the good stuff. The level of detail you can get saves time than sitting there chipping away and max or mine.
And making it affordable would keep people from pirating.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That was the best thing they did, was make it affordable and then get you addicted to it. So, I mean, there are other programs out there, but
yeah.
Once you learn that workflow, man, it's hard to go. As a matter of fact, what most people who use ZBrush will say is, "Hey, make this more like Maya, more like 3ds Max, so we can do everything in a program, or as much as possible," because it's an addictive program. It's just very fluid. Once you get involved, it's very easy to learn, easy to use, and it's natural. It's a program that's designed to be natural, so you feel like you're actually sculpting when you sculpt. So it's hard to pirate something like that.
And speaking of pirating, did you guys see that Adobe is suing Forever 21? And for those people that don't know, Forever 21, I think, is like a young girls, young ladies clothing store. So Adobe is suing them for pirating Photoshop, and apparently more than just Adobe is going after them. Well, allegedly. Let's say allegedly. Forever 21 was pirating Photoshop. What else? Acrobat, Illustrator, Autodesk, Corel is going after them. Dude, WinZip. They were pirating WinZip. Like WinZip.
They had no overhead. They're like managers, like, yo, what you need? Go ahead.
Let me ask a question. Who isn't pirating WinZip?
Yeah.
Let me ask another question.
I didn't even know they charge for WinZip.
Exactly.
Jack's
Computers unzip things automatically.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't even know what was the cost for that.
Could you imagine? WinZip was like, yes, we're gonna get some income.
Everybody.
How is your computer that you gotta pirate WinZip?
When they ask me to pay. When WinZip asked me to pay for the paid version, I kind of chuckle at my screen like,
and you hit
that's
cancel.
funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's hilarious. You said pay for it. Stop playing.
I don't pay for this.
And also they were allegedly pirating Paint Shop Pro.
Stop. Now you're lying.
Well, see, because what happened was they pirated Paint Shop Pro, that they unzipped with WinZip. They were like, oh, Paint Shop sucks. Let's go pirate Photoshop. They got them all.
We got this deadline we have to do. Paint Shop is not cutting it anymore.
Hey, could you imagine that one guy that shows up to work and he's got a zip drive?
Hey,
he's got a zip drive, and he looks over at his friend. He's like, "I got Paint Shop Pro, but you gotta WinZip it."
Hey, can we crack Notepad real quick? Because that's where all the crack codes are.
Their web developers. Hey, their web developers are in the corner making words blink.
Do you guys remember when we were in college? We used to have those zip drives, and it would be like a big deal if you had a 1 gig drive, and the thing was as big as a backpack. And we're like, yeah, I got 1 gig.
And it made that sound when it turned on.
The zip drives were 250 megs. The Jazz drives. And you remember having all your 3D work on those Jazz drives, and then that stuff just going clank, 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 clang.
Remember, you had that one guy that would pull it out of their book bag, and the metal part would fall off instantly. Everything on their jazz job was done and gone.
And that seems so important. It was like 1 gig or 256. It's like, yeah, I could really do something with this. Now, you can't save a Word file with 256. Like,
How about it?
You could probably say WinZip on there.
You could save anything you want on there as long as you have his WinZip. God dang.
I feel bad.
Take your 256, find a port, plug it in, look on there, a whole bunch of Paint Shop Pro files. You're learning how to digitally paint. It's all pixelated and squared and flat colored.
Too good, too good.
We should start a gallery where we just go and use Paint Shop Pro. That's it, right? That's it. You can't use anything else. You got to go in Paint Shop Pro and you got to make it happen. One up.
We give advice. Paint Shop Pro. Have you ever used that?
Oh, Lord.
We can do a podcast on Paint Shop Pro. Like, yeah, I'm really getting into this program. I never realized how many tools it had and the options that come with it. For example, they got this lasso tool. I've never seen anything like this before. This lasso tool is amazing. Like, check this out, guys. If you take the lasso tool, you can actually select the crap that you just painted, right?
And then you can fill it from an array of 12 colors.
Not 6, but 12. All of the primaries are there and a couple extra, all right? Red, blue, green, what's the other primary? Those 3 are there. I don't know if they're anymore. But listen, this Paint Shop Pro is amazing.
Hey.
And that's what? It comes with WinZip. You buy one, you get the other one.
Lifetime membership.
But it's a freemium because for 25 cents, you can use purple.
And yellow. The other
primary. Allegedly.
Oh my gosh.
Too good. Speaking of colors.
I'm gonna sign off.
Jack just laughed too hard.
Speaking of colors, let's talk about brown. The color brown. Officially, Disney paid 25 cents to use the color brown. They just announced the first Latina princess, Elena of Avalor. What do you
can't even pronounce that?
Why did it? How old is Disney?
Whoa, Disney's been around since the 30s, 20s. I want to say. I could be wrong. Let's see. Let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
They just have their
Snow White came out in '37, but they've been around before that.
So you would say
1923.
1923.
1923, October 6th. Yep, 16th. So they've been around for a while. Talk to me, Carlos. What were you saying about it?
Hold up, because I'm going to do this math real quick.
Okay.
I wasn't going to do it.
92.
92? Really? They're coming up on 100 soon.
92.
Nice.
It took these mugs 92 years to come up with a brown princess.
Wait a minute. What's the closest you
got?
Well,
no, not brown. Latina.
Latina.
There's been brown princesses.
Pocahontas is brown.
Like who? Oh, yeah.
Pocahontas.
Shout out to Pocahontas. If you're out there, girl, holla at your
Princess of the Frog, right?
You can reach me on Skype, Facebook.
Are you hollering at Pocahontas?
I like the way you wear that little slouch. You know what I'm saying? I look good around your waist, girl. With your hair blowing the wind. You know what I'm saying? We can get together and talk about some things. How you set that teepee up. Ooh.
Don't she got a man?
Ooh, look at. I don't care about her man. Let her man worry about me. I'm worrying about her. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Pocahontas. Put that tent up, girl. You look good doing that.
I don't know if Pocahontas would want to get down with Kimbo Slice.
You're a hater, dude. You know, that's the most attractive thing. Listen, when a woman see this beard, you know what she feel? Security. Because you know I'm a man.
You mean she think of a security guard?
You know what a woman sees when she sees that beard? The missing link.
Look at this. Look at this naked-faced boy talking about a man with a beard. You mad? Because you can't grow a beard. You have holes in it like a street in Chicago. Pie hole, pie hole, pie hole. Let's get focused.
Hey,
Back
I don't need a beard to be a man.
You do. You wouldn't know because you don't have one. So listen, Pocahontas, baby girl. All of this right here is for you.
I'm gonna push you down a hill.
I don't know how I feel about you hollering at Pocahontas.
You're a hater. That's why.
No, I'm just saying.
You try to holler at her and see what happens.
Break
I bet
over.
you I first.
I'm trying to give you a
Pocahontas don't
running
want
start.
nothing to do with you. She's fine not getting harassed by the cops.
Yeah, she don't want to keep getting pulled over every time you go out to eat.
Big man, get
Racist.
out of here.
Racist. Naked face. Booty face.
Hey, don't hate. Do not hate.
Toddler face.
So
So yeah,
when is that set to come out? When is that set to come out, Carlos? Are they working on it now?
No, but here's the thing. It's
I'm working
not.
on. Huh?
She's not even a featured princess. She's on a TV show.
I'm done. Unplug. This
Wait,
podcast is done.
Jack, wait, say what? Say that again?
She's on Disney TV. She's not even a featured princess.
Walt,
You just made Carlos feel bad.
Walt, Mr. Disney. Walt.
Yeah.
Walt.
But hold
I
up.
don't even know. I'm talking to Walt's ghost right now. Look, dude, you need to make your way back. Unfreeze yourself. Isn't he frozen in Florida somewhere?
I think he is.
Unfreeze yourself.
Just waiting on technology.
Come and get these people correct. We don't ask for much. And then when you finally give us a princess, you're gonna put her on TV. This ain't Sanford and Son. We're trying to reach for the sky.
He'll be on Telemundo.
It's not even going to be on Real People TV. It's going to be on Telemundo.
Disney.
So seriously, on a serious note, check this out. On a serious note, they were talking about this on the internet, and a person was saying how this was an issue, that there's so few minority princesses, or so few, Disney makes so few minority movies, Black, Latino, Asian, right? And the response from the internet was, some guy wrote, oh, well, these stories are based on European stories, or these movies are based on European stories, European actors, or whatever, right? And so the internet applauded him like, yeah, that's very factual. But what the minority standpoint view is like, well, why only get those types of stories? For example, Pocahontas, what's up, girl? Great story, but it has a European focus, right? It's Eurocentric, right? It goes back to the conquistadors, people who conquers her people, comes over, she falls in love with the conqueror. So once again, this is as a minority, you look at the story and go, how unrealistic is this? Like, but as a child, you're being fed this, right? So that's one story. Then you say, well, what about Mulan? Okay, that's good. Mulan is a good example. It's a good breakaway from the normal Disney movies. But then you go overall, the entire body of work tends to leave minorities out. You say, well, why does that matter? Well, here's why it matters. So I have a 6-year-old daughter, right? And tonight my 6-year-old daughter tells my 18-year-old daughter she wants her hair braided like the girl in Frozen. So my 18-year-old daughter braids her hair, drapes it around her, she's got the little braid thing going. And I thought that was crazy. And it shows how these movies directly affect the children who watch them. So, for example, what if my daughter's hair wasn't long enough to braid and make that braid for? Then she feels like she doesn't fit like Princess Elsa. So that's just one movie. So then let's say 2 years later, another princess movie comes out. Once again, she doesn't have anything in common with the princess that's on the screen. You do that throughout a kid's lifetime. So 18 years of every time a movie comes out, nobody in the movie looks like them, acts like them, can relate to them, tells any story that's relatable to them. Then you're saying you are excluded from our society or our world. We'll take your money. You can buy all the costumes, because I buy my daughters all the costumes, right? We'll take all of that, but we won't do anything to include you. And to someone who can't understand it, who hasn't lived through that, it wouldn't make sense. But when you live through it and you see your child constantly being told how you look isn't particularly valued in what we do here, over and over and over again, year after year after year, it actually affects a person's self-esteem and how they're viewed in the world. So when people say, oh, well, racism is dead, or I don't see color, when you say that, you have the privilege of not seeing color or not seeing racism. But it exists. It's there. You've just ignored it. The people who are that color, the people who are being excluded, can ignore it. Because every single time we sit down in the movie theater, children, adults, we're excluded. A good example, and then I'll let you guys talk. I don't want to take the whole whole conversation, but a good example of that is, for example, every time I go to an action movie, the first person who dies has to be black. That's institutional racism, right? Now, here's why they do that. Let me show you why that matters, so people will argue and say, oh, you know, you're making a big deal out of it. No, what you're doing is desensitizing the audience to death, to a human being being killed, by taking the person who society says matters the least, and you kill them off. The first time, no one responds because, oh, it's a black guy, he probably deserved to die. These things are all subconscious. Now you've opened the door to violence, etc., murder, killing, whatever's going to happen in the movie, and people are at ease with it. See, when we say it doesn't matter, we have to actually look and say, does it matter? It may not matter on the conscious, on the surface, but when we get down to it, it absolutely matters. That's why you see people putting contacts in their eye to change the color of their eyes. That's why you see people putting fake hair in their head, because it matters. They've been told their entire life, you're not good enough. So then people who feel they're not good enough do things to try to become good enough. We would all do the same thing. It's a little different for boys. We have different issues. But for girls, you know, when you talk about this Disney princess thing, it's a big deal. That's my thoughts on it. What do you guys think?
I'll talk about this experiment that people were doing, and then we can expand on this. But they took some kids and they sat them down, and they had a black doll and then they had a white doll, and they asked the kids, which one is the white doll? Obviously they pointed at the white doll. Which one is the black doll? Obviously they pointed at the black doll. And then they started asking them really interesting questions. They would say, which one is the pretty doll? And then they would point at the white doll. And which one is the ugly doll? And they would point at the black doll. And then which one is the good one? And they would point, you know, and it just kept going. So it's a little bit of a subconscious setup to fail. Anyway, I just wanted to I wanted to throw that out there, because that's, my brain went exactly to this test when you were talking about your daughters and everything.
It's called the blue eye brown eye experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've done similar things with they'll pop an image of a black guy and a white guy together, you know, vice versa, with a woman, or various ethnicities, and they'll pop a word with it, such as like good, happy, evil, bad, and almost unanimously, you know, like the white person will have a delay in when they're trying to, like, if they'll pop two black guys and it says good, there's always a delay in which one they pick. If there's a white guy, they always pick the same race faster. It's like there's an inherent, yeah, there's an inherent, and we do that over the ages with, you know, considering the color white good, color black bad, just with heroes and villains in art. I mean, there's cultures across the world that's reversed. I mean, you look at like brujeria and all that stuff. I mean, white's kind of unanimously bad. So it's definitely, you know, ingrained not only just in the movies and in the culture, but even in our art, and, you know, the colors and the way we depict just the color itself, which unfortunately is tied exactly to the skin and the way we see people.
So my question would be, and just to round out the question, is best ways or best practices to counteract that. Tyrus, I know we talk about, I have a 2-year-old daughter, so I know you always give me good tidbits, because obviously you've gone through one daughter and you're fully raising the other two. But counteracting that fact, you know, finding good ways to instill, you know, self-worth, you know, if you will, in your kids, you know, or even in your artwork, or even trying to change that perspective somewhat, even though there's an overwhelming shift in the other direction. So, Tyrus, how are some of those ways that you change that real quick, just to kind of put a cap on this section?
Yeah, so, I mean, one of the things you do is this. You actually limit the amount of television that your children watch. Like, visually, you actually limit. You go out of your way to say, all right, if I know this is happening in the media, right, I can't, there's no button you can hit to change the media, but what you can do is limit the amount of television that your children watch, limit the movies that they see, have them read more, and do things that you can control. For example, we have a Netflix account, and we get to go in and pick the shows that they watch, right? So we try to pick shows with robots, creatures, especially at such a young age, so they can't decide who's good and who's bad, right? There is no representation of Japanese people or Chinese kids, and so how can they grow up to have this idea that their worth is just as good as my worth, as a human being? Well, if you eliminate that and let them look at objects that are not people, they have a better chance. So one of the things that they just graduated to was Astro Boy.
Oh, cool.
So normally I let them watch, creatures and things like that. But Astro Boy's pretty neutral. Not a lot of black people, if any, in it. But it kind of shows like an Asian heritage at times, and the cartoons are very cartoony. So it doesn't bring race into the situation as much, right? But even then, we limit that. Go to the store, buy those books that have Latinos, Asians, African Americans, Africans, like all of these things, and expose your children to them so they have a sturdy foundation, as opposed to allowing Disney to give it to them. Then, if Disney, DreamWorks, somebody else makes a movie, then we go to that movie and we support it. We say, hey, we want to give our dollars to this movie so that the numbers show that people are coming out. And I think that's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
But as they get older, then I can say, look, I know you guys want to see more movies, you want to see more cartoons. Now that you understand that the world is multicultural, I can show you these things, and hopefully it won't affect you as much. What really matters, Charlie, and to everybody who's considering this, is when they're young, giving them a good foundation. That's the most important part, is giving them a good foundation. And so sit down and draw with your kids. When they draw, tell them, hey, why don't you try the brown crayon? And then when they use the brown crayon, give them praise, like, oh, that's a great job. Or if every character they do happens to have blue eyes or something like that, right? Which it happens with kids because of television. Then when they use green or they use brown, go, oh, wow, that really looks good. Reinforcing that, brown eyes are just as beautiful as blue eyes or green eyes or purple eyes or anything else. Because when they go look in the mirror, they don't have brown eyes. And so I want to tell them, wow, you have beautiful brown eyes. Or I want to point the things out that society doesn't pat them on the back for, and daddy's going to pat them on the back for it. We really have to insert ourselves and really take over and supplement for what the media doesn't give. And more importantly, work on projects that relate to the things that your children need. Bam!
Sounds good. That's a good segue, though, Carlos.
Did you guys ever see the video of Morgan Freeman when they were asking him about Black History Month?
Oh,
yeah.
I see this video.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Morgan says what he wants now.
Because you're exactly right. On one end, for me, it sucks that it matters.
Mm-hmm.
It would be cool to be able to celebrate being different. I like being different. But when it turns to the point where it's a negative, that's the part that doesn't help anything at all. And you can't really do anything. It is what it is right now. But I will tell you, things are changing. In Chicago, where I'm originally from, it's racist, and not in a horribly bad way. I mean, racism is bad, yes, but you hear so many jokes about this and that and other kind of races. Well, I came out to LA with a bag of jokes that I've heard for the first chunk of my life.
Man, yeah.
and it took me 2 jokes. I cracked 2 jokes, and people were looking at me like, I don't get it. And I was like, oh. But all of the jokes that I've heard for my entire life, I pretty much forgot because I couldn't use them anymore because no one got it.
Well, they looked at you crazy.
Yeah.
This dude.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. What Morgan Freeman basically said is, I don't want a Black History Month. Black History Month is American history. Period.
Right.
Black history is American history, and that's what it should be. because the way I explain it, it kind of bothers me when people say, "Oh, you're Cuban American." I'm like, no, not really. I serve my country. If World War III were to happen again, I would have red, white, and blue on my shoulder. I'm not gonna have like half a Cuba flag and half an American flag. Is gonna be Old Glory on my shoulder, no questions asked. So it does bother me a little bit, but that's what the game is right now. And change is coming. It's coming a little slower in some parts of the country, but the change is definitely coming. I remember being a kid, and even though my mom and my stepdad were interracial, my stepdad is black, even though I saw them together all the time, I'd be out in the streets and I would see a mixed couple, and I'm not going to lie, it would take about a second or two to be like, oh, damn. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's normal. Now it's at the point where it just doesn't even matter. Like, almost everyone is mixed, at least out in the West Coast. Like, no one matches, and it's pretty cool. But anyway, to liven it up a little bit, I don't know if you guys have you guys ever seen...
Wait, hold on, wait. Well, what does Jack have to say? Because I'm sure Jack has a completely different perspective, hopefully, than we have, and I'd like to hear how he sees it.
He's like, I miss the good old days.
No, I mean, I think everything you said is totally valid and relevant, and I mean, I think like what Tyra said is a big part of it is just introducing, and you know, if mass media is not going to do it, you as parents or even once you're old enough to make your own choices, is introducing yourself to incorporate more people. And I mean, that's the basis of this, is it's just purely there's just not enough representation. I mean, there's no rule that says white folks can't be good or bad and that black folks can't be good or bad. But the problem is just that they're so often stereotyped and typecast, and you know, most of the heroes are white boys. I mean, there's a whole other argument, you know, a whole other conversation here about women. You know, women being underrepresented, and I mean, I think the thing
when
that
actually they're barely dressed.
Yeah, I mean, or they're helpless and they need a man to save them.
There's nothing wrong with those things. Are true. So let's focus on.
Wow.
Let's focus on
the demographics. Just close their browser.
You know what? This dude here.
No, I mean, listen. Nobody's gonna keep it real around here. But go ahead, Jack.
No, I mean, I think that's totally it. There's a systematic industry-wide, you know, racism, whether it's intentional or not. I mean, you can go out and say, oh, they're racist. I mean, that's kind of hard to define when it's so ingrained in a lot of people's subculture and, you know, the entire way they've been raised in their environment. But becoming aware of it and becoming conscious of it, I think, is the first the first attack. You know, and what Carlos said about, you know, Black History Month, that actually the first thing that came to my mind is took over.
I was like,
Jack's
did it really?
Is breakdancing right now. Freeze! Lock!
They said,
Freeze!
Yeah, Jack, you had a hiccup, so you might need to.
Oh, sorry. I just
circle back the last 10 seconds.
The first thing that it made me think of actually is Shonda Rhimes on Twitter, because How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, yeah.
People got all upset about this gay character, and they said there's too many gay scenes. And all she said was, "There's no such thing as gay scenes. There are scenes with people in it." And that's exactly what this is. I mean, people are people, and it has nothing to do with color. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with. And a lot of it is just representing it fairly and more equally across the board. It's just exposure.
Well said.
Like Louis C.K. said, he said, if he gets a time machine, he doesn't care about going back in time, because white people have been running things for a long time. He goes, I'm not going to go forward in time, because we're going to pay the price somewhere, and my luck is I'm going to show up at that time, and it's not going to be good for white people.
He's going to put the cuffs on you. Oh, welcome.
So it looks like DreamWorks is coming out with, or they came out with an animation short.
It's a new one. It's going to be a
Speaking
new
out
movie.
with a black hero.
Yeah, yeah. So
Female,
DreamWorks
nonetheless.
female.
Yeah.
It looks
What's
really
about?
cool.
Have you guys seen it yet? I haven't seen it.
There's a first theatrical trailer up on it, so check it out.
Where can people find it?
They can find it on DreamWorks site, as well as you can YouTube it on their actual YouTube page. Just type in.
What's it called?
The name of it is called DreamWorks Almost Home.
Almost Home.
Almost Home. So it has a little bit of everything. Aliens, and the main character's black, and she's like a Spitfire, really cool, and it's good. I think it's gonna be good. It's the first time DreamWorks has done that. Now, I would like to know how that movie's going right now, based on how DreamWorks is right now. I don't know which DreamWorks is doing it, if it's DreamWorks or PDI, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. There's a trailer up. Check it out, guys. It's really good. Have you seen the Tyrus?
No, I don't. Is it out already?
No, it's a new movie. It's not out.
Oh
yet.
yeah, I saw the trailer. I haven't seen the movie. Yeah, I saw the trailer. I haven't seen the movie. So.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I was really. Yeah, she looks really cool too. Like, so I'm glad. And it's not like she's like a side character. It's her and then the little alien. So them two are like the main characters.
Is it alien Mexican? Just kidding.
The alien, Jordan Purple. Close. What's next?
Man.
What's next, Carlos? Going to your bag.
Speaking of movies, did you guys see? Have you guys seen the Lego Movie?
Surprisingly hilarious.
Yes, hilarious, fantastic
Hilarious.
movie.
Jack?
I have not.
No.
Sorry.
All good. I actually just bought it a couple weeks ago on iTunes, and I finally watched it. It was pretty good.
What do you think about the Batman character in it?
He was amazing.
Everything's dark.
So good.
I have a utility belt.
I thought that movie was pretty freaking funny.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies I took my kids, we loaded up the car, we went, and normally I like to use that as sleepy time. It's like, all right, they're in a controlled environment. I give one big thing of popcorn, tell them to be quiet, be still, and I go to sleep, right? I'm not kidding you. That's 2 hours apiece. But I was actually like, okay, I'm checking it out. I was like, man, the graphics look pretty good, nice colors, good story. And before you know it, like, we're laughing. I look at my wife, she's laughing. We're chuckling at little jokes. It was I thought it was a pretty good movie.
I liked it the second time through. The first time I was like, oh, that's cool. But the second time it was a little bit more hilarious to me. I have a buddy who loves it and swears by it and does all the movie catchphrases. But just based off him telling me a tidbit of information with the Lego movie, everything built in the Lego movie, you can actually build with Legos in real life. So everything's built correctly. So it's not like just modeled for the movie. They're actually individually built Legos that they put together. They have this whole intricate system. So if you just bought it, Carlos, look at the making of. Mm-hmm. You'll be surprised that they built everything, to Lego specs. And then so all the stuff that you can buy now in the stores with the Legos are just like what was in the movie and stuff like that. But I just thought that was funny.
Apparently, the Producers Guild of America thought that this 2-hour commercial for Legos was fantastic. They they awarded the PGA Animated Feature Award.
Oh.
What studio made it? Warner Brothers?
I do not know that one. It's going to be a creative Google search.
I have the story here, but I don't know. Whoever it was, congratulations, guys. It was a really good movie. Well worth the nod.
Yeah, you called it a commercial. That's a good point. It definitely is a Lego commercial.
Everything in there you can build. Yeah, it's like, yeah. And
I'll tell you, look, I get it. Like, somebody's going to advertise to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think in that case, I'm all right with it. Like, it's toys. It's a kid movie. It made sense as opposed to something being forced down my throat, like regular commercials. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, Carlos. It definitely is a commercial, but It's a good commercial.
All of everything that comes out, especially kids movies, all of it is commercials for something. Because look at Toy Story. Toy Story was a commercial for all those toys. I have an advertising background too, and it was crazy when I found out that advertising agencies spend money on learning how to spoil your kid, or teaching your kids how to throw tantrums, so they go out and ask for all these toys.
Mm-hmm. It's a true story. And I have a background in toy design, so I worked on a Happy Meal program for McDonald's for a couple of years, actually I think like 3 or 4 years, right? And one of the things, two things I found out that I thought was absolutely nuts, but the Happy Meal was designed to get kids to throw tantrums to say, I want a Happy Meal. It's called a Happy Meal because allegedly they want to attach the word happy to McDonald's food. True story. When I learned the history, I was sitting there with my mouth open. The entire thing is designed from the title, from the toys. The reason why they pay so much and they fight between there may be 3 companies now, but it used to only be 2 companies. They would literally fight and bid on who can design their toys. So, for example, Shrek comes out, right? All right, you know Shrek's going to be a hit. I'm going to give you 2 different versions. Shrek's going to be a hit. So then they say, hey, we want to produce those toys. The reason why they want to produce those toys, they give a price point and say we could do it at this much per. Well, okay. But ultimately what they're doing is they're selling a toy and they make a little profit. But the kids attach themselves to those movies, so when Shrek 2 comes out, they'll say, oh, let's go back to McDonald's. Let's go back and get those toys. Then the kids do it again, and then they grow up as lifelong McDonald's fans. And so anytime they're depressed, they feel bad, they go, hey, let's go to McDonald's. It used to make me happy. And then they do the same thing for their children. Crazy. That's why McDonald's is #1. If you think about Wendy's or Burger King or McDonald's, outside of the fries, I prefer the fries, but outside of the fries, you can't even compare the burgers. Wendy's have better burgers, Burger King has better burgers, but yet McDonald's is kicking everybody's butt. Why is that? Happy Meals. Now that's one side. The other side, let's flip the coin. Where the people at Mattel, or it was some other company that went to Mattel, they had the He-Man toy. They said, well, how can we sell these toys? So it came from the Conan the Barbarian movies. So they came up with the He-Man collection figure. And they said, okay, well, how can we sell these toys? Because Conan the Barbarian was rated R, right? So kids couldn't see it, but they knew there was a boy market that would love this. So they said, hey, let's make the He-Man show. So check this out. If you Google it, you'll see it's true. The entire He-Man show was made to sell toys. That's it. And I think they only did 2 seasons. So when I go in my head, it looked like it was like 6 seasons worth of He-Man. Nah, it's like 2.
Really? 2
seasons, and all it was, and I'm not kidding you, it was a commercial. So, for example, you know how Orko has that O on his chest?
Yeah.
The reason why it's an O, it's supposed to be a G or something, but the reason why they made it an O is because it was such a cheap production that they wanted to be able to flip Orko left and flip him right as an animator. You guys get this. And it's cheaper to just flip Orko than to put a G and have to reanimate it. That's how dirty they were. So you'd always see He-Man, he'd run into the scene like this, right? He'd come into the scene, and he'd throw his sword from side to side. Same animation every time. Every time.
Yeah.
So I'm like reading this, and I'm like, holy crap, my childhood was a lie.
Because I bought all those He-Man.
That's why they spend so much time in Castle Grayskull, because that thing costs $200.
Absolutely. Hey, and let me tell you, this is the last thing I'll say about this. Let me tell you how successful it was. Right now, people are still ordering He-Man toys. Like, you sign up. There's this He-Man collectible where you sign up and you pay, like, I don't know, $20 a month, and they send you a new He-Man toy every month. True story.
Getting them adult.
And they still make them. Like, they're still toys. They come out all the time. And the kids who grew up from our generation, they still pay for them. $20 a month, they send you one automatically.
I got fuzzy He-Man draws coming from eBay.
Wrong podcast. Wrong podcast.
Wrong one? Oh.
Oh.
Story time.
Can't wait to go to bed.
So one of the things that we're also going to address on this podcast is how each of us will eventually talk about our processes and how we create and our setups and all that good stuff. For example, hey Jack, when you're drawing, do you do anything on the computer?
Not till the end. I'm kind of yeah, I don't usually really do anything digital until the end. Sometimes not at all. At least for the fine art and illustration stuff.
Jack came out with a series of city illustrations. How did you do those?
No, okay, those happen to be the one thing that are actually done digitally.
Gotcha.
Tell us.
Good choice.
Tell us where we can see those at. Give us the link. Tell us where we can see those at.
You can just go to sketchbookjack.com or Instagram/sketchbookjack is where you find everything. Yeah, the cities were. It started with a print I made for a friend of LA, downtown LA, and it was actually her building. And that one I did in Illustrator, just kind of freehand, and I didn't have a thumbnail, nothing. I was just kind of playing around in Illustrator, laying it out, and then I kind of liked where it was going, and I had the idea to do a whole bunch of different cities. So the most recent ones have gotten quite a bit more elaborate, more detailed. So it's kind of a mix of just Illustrator work, and then there's some 3D elements as well.
Coolness.
And then Charlie, what's your process like?
So I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I'm more 3D. So my process generally lately I've been working in a open source software called Blender, and I've been doing a lot of modeling in that. I spent about close to 10 years almost in the game industry. Most of us all went to college together, so we went to school for film. So literally my time in the game industry, I kind of fell into it, and relearned how to model more efficiently and stuff like that, because I just used to throw polys at it and make it look pretty. So my process is more so using either like Autodesk 3D Studio Max or Maya, and I do environment. So, and I also love to work in the Unreal Engine for game engine. So I usually model and grab a bunch of reference. And usually when I'm doing buildings or I'm having to come up with cityscapes or something like that, or even sci-fi stuff, I like to grab a bunch of reference. My Pinterest account rivals anyone I know. It's amazing. I have so much reference. We'll have to put my Pinterest account in the notes for the show this week, because I think it's the ultimate reference guide. Before I used to have all these sites that had just links. And have you ever, as an artist, you better step away from that mic, Tyrus.
You're talking about Pinterest?
Mm-hmm.
Are you over here talking about Pinterest?
Yes, because you know what? I know you got one too. You want to keep it real. You better keep it real.
Yeah,
hey, keep it real.
Tyrus. I got a billion pictures on Pinterest.
do this real quick, Tyrus. Just say, "Mama said knock you out." Grab the mic and do that real quick.
I pity the fool. I pity the fool who make fun of my beard.
No.
Oh, like LL, like LL?
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock you out. Mama says knock you out.
Okay, that wasn't anything I thought.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Go ahead. Take it back. Take it back. Rewind.
Hey, turn my mic up. Turn my mic up.
Who are you talking to the left?
I can't hear my snare.
Turn my mic up. Turn me up. Turn me up, son. Turn me up.
Did you got an audio guy in there with you? You just look to the left.
No, I got your mama in here with me. I'm trying to get her to turn me up.
That's why it's bassy.
You done,
Charlie? Keep telling us about your Pinterest account, though.
I'm just saying. Reference. Reference is the key. Since you want to cut me off, Mr. Tyrus, I know you got one too. Why you fronting?
My bad, boy. My bad. I did cut you off, son. Daddy should treat you better than that. I did cut you off. It's mad disrespectful, and I didn't raise you like that.
He wants you to be a black princess too.
Shots fired. All right, Carlos over there.
What?
Underhanded. That was an underhanded joke there. I remember that. Cut me deep, bro. But long story short, I'm a big opponent on reference. When I don't have that, it tends to my modeling or anything I do. I still do a little sketching in Photoshop and stuff like that. If it's something more stylized, right? If it's not something realistic that I'm working on. But even then, giving real world reference to the sketching and the drawing that I do is a big thing.
So you do?
I do it. Yeah, like,
you were not gonna let that slide.
You know what it was, right? Right in my head, Jack. In my head, Jack. I was like, Tyrus is gonna say something right now. So yeah. So reference. That's my process. I use a lot of reference, and then once I have all that, I create like splash pages, as I call them, and then I pull little things from if there's a really cool piece on the side of the Taj Mahal, or if there's like some cool Tudor house in New York City or something, or in the Bronx, and I grab all these different things, and it's just easier for me to model. Then I can just throw headphones on and I can model 15, 20 buildings in like half the time, rather than me just try to do it for my brain. That's just me.
Tyrus, you do a lot of illustration and digital painting and stuff like that. What kind of setup do you have? Do you have any, like a Wacom Cintiq or anything?
Yeah, so I got a Cintiq, and I have 4 screens. So I got a nice little setup here. I got my mic.
Which Cintiq do you have? The mic that you don't use.
Don't be a hater. You know what I'm saying?
Who told you?
This is a high class. This is a high class establishment. Use your good microphone when you talk to us.
I got the Rode podcaster, but I rock with the Logitech. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the streets. We don't need this Rode. You know what I'm saying?
That was
you obviously don't need to read either, because that's Rode.
Yeah.
This is a Rode, dog. This is the Rode. Rose with Optimus Prime. You know what I'm saying?
You say Rose?
Optimus Prime had Rhodey. I got Rhodey. All right? Haters, man. So listen. So
Autobots. Roll out.
Autobots, roll out. Is that pretty good? I've been working on that my whole life.
You poor thing.
I got
Bring him back, Jack.
I got the Cintiq. I got the first black one, right? So it's the one after the gray. It's the 21XUD. I don't have the new touchscreen though. What'd you say, Charlie? Something not funny. Oh, okay. So anyway, so that's my setup. Look, check this out. I'll let you guys see it. Hold on. I'm pretty proud of this. I'm gonna pull the camera down.
Oh, no.
Oh, look at this.
Whoa, too close to your face.
Had a blackout.
Thought I was going to a black hole.
It's like the Matrix.
No porn on any of my screens, Charlie. Pay attention. This is how professionals work. All right?
They minimize before they go live.
No, what's funny is he's trying to show us, and everyone is laughing, so we didn't even see it.
That's for the fans, dude. I don't care about y'all.
The fans didn't see a damn thing.
The fans saw it. One up. They know what's up.
Okay.
So yeah. So look, my process is actually I'm a mix. Well, I use 3D and I use 2D. So even when I book illustrate, when I'm doing illustrations for books, I like to create as much as possible in ZBrush, all right? And then I port it over, or I'll paint it in ZBrush, poly paint it, bring it over into Photoshop, polish it up, and integrate it with whatever else I'm doing. So I do a combination of both. And it's actually good for saving time. Like once you get the process down, you can work in ZBrush, build whatever you want to build, and then port it over very easily, then polish it up. And so, like, for example, with characters, if you're illustrating, even if you're doing one major illustration for a client, right, the good thing about doing it in 3D is that you can create it once in 3D and just simply rotate and get better angles and send that over for approval. And it saves you so much time because you don't have to draw every angle out. You don't have to worry about perspective being off. You pretty much have true perspective once you get whatever it is you're building. In my case, a character done. Send it over. The client will say, "Oh, I like number 3." You go back. You can save those positions. You click, you click the button and puts it right back at the position that they chose. Paint it, poly paint it up, render it out, send it into Photoshop. You know that you're giving the client exactly what they asked for, as opposed to some distortion of it. And so that works well for me, especially if I'm doing something like slot games and I'm creating a symbol, or I'm creating a poster for a slot game, right, or a head for a slot game. It's easier to do it in 3D, get that approval, they know exactly what it's going to look like, and then I go to high-class polishing, right? And so it saves me time, and I think it's actually a more efficient way to work once you get comfortable in it, as opposed to saying, okay, I'm going to sit down and draw and hopefully get it right. So I don't draw as much at my art table as I thought I would or as I used to. I primarily use my Cintiq and Photoshop and a couple other programs. One of the programs I just started using, we'll talk about this in a couple weeks, is Mischief. Mischief. It's a good 2D program. Sketchbook Pro, I use that every now and then. And yeah, primarily that and Photoshop. Photoshop 90% of the time. And then ZBrush and Maya.
Cool. I work a lot, and so I have to figure out creative ways to be creative. And I have everything. I've tried everything. I have the Wacom Inkling, if you guys remember that thing.
I remember that.
I have a Wacom Cintiq 12WX. I have the Adobe Ink and Slide. I have good old paper and pencil. But my latest buy was a Wacom Cintiq Companion, and I bring that up because Wacom actually just announced this week the Cintiq Companion 2.
Oh.
So I don't even have the specs on it, but basically one of the cool things that I read about was the original, the one that I have. If you have a Windows machine, you can take that Cintiq, the Companion, and plug it into your computer, and then it'll work like a Cintiq usually does, a regular Cintiq does. And then when you unplug it, then you have the whole thing, and it works. It's a computer. So it can be, if you have a Windows, if your main machine is a Windows machine, you can use your Companion as a slave to your main machine, or you can unplug it and take it with you. I have a Mac, so I can't really do that, but the second version, the Companion 2, you're going to be able to do that now. So they've worked out a bunch of kinks to it. But all that to set up to say I have a Companion, the first version. It's pretty cool. We'll talk about it more a little later, but I'm excited because I'm getting it back in the mail. I've had to send this thing into Wacom twice. The way it's designed, basically, let's see if we can get that go. No, Tyrus is making noise. Basically, that's it. The square is your Cintiq, and then that little thing here is the power cable. And if you're not careful, that power cable starts knocking around a little bit. Well, it stopped making contact, so I thought my Companion was charging, and then it actually wasn't. So I had to send it in the first time because of the power cable. And then I got it back, and I'm drawing, and I was using, the little quick buttons on the side. The top one went out on me, so I had to send it in a second time. And I should be getting it back tomorrow, so UPS says that I have a package coming. I hope it's it. But anyway, all that to say, I'm excited. I'm getting my Cintiq Companion tomorrow. And then when I went to Wacom.com to get the customer service number, I saw that they released the Companion 2. Which sucks. But oh well. Now, all that to say, when I'm sketching, I have a sketch pad that's empty. I have a sketch pad. I do that. And my scanner is my iPhone. And then I just doodle. I take a picture. I email it to myself. I do the layouts in Photoshop. I do the layouts for robots and aliens in Photoshop. I do the inking, coloring, and everything in Photoshop, and then I kick it out the door.
Awesome.
Excuse me, guys.
Bless you. So that's my companion. I'm excited. When I get it back, we'll do a show and I'll showcase it.
Nice.
And I'll
Yeah,
start
that'll be
pulling
good
all
to
these.
see.
I'll start pulling all these toys out too, because the Inkling. I remember when they announced the Inkling, it was tight. I was excited. There was a back order for it.
How was it? Was it not as good as you thought it would be, or?
No.
I was excited too.
So for those of you that don't know, Wacom came out with this thing called the Inkling. It was basically a ballpoint pen with a radio transmitter, and then they had a clip that you clip onto a bunch of paper. And then the pen would send the radio signal to this little clamp. When you plug your clamp into your computer, all of your drawings would be recorded on this little device, and you're able to open it up in Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever. For me, the radio would the lines wouldn't always line up properly. So you'd get roughly the sketch, but then like if you had like let's say this is there you go. Let's say you're drawing this head, right? On the paper it would look lined up and okay, but then when you open it up in Photoshop, you'd have the head, you'd have your little circle, but then your eyes would be like over here.
Oh.
So it was cool. The idea was really cool, but then all these touch-sensitive devices started coming out, and they kind of called it quits on that one.
Mm.
But anyway,
You'd think they would thought that one through more, though.
The idea was really cool, and with the technology that was available at the time, no one was really doing any kind of touch surfaces. I think the only people were Microsoft back then. They had the Surface, this big ass table that you can send, move pictures around and stuff like that. But yeah, no one had any of these mobile devices really. The iPad wasn't out yet. What's the Surface? The Microsoft Surface wasn't out yet.
We gotta talk about the Microsoft's new thing next time. Next time too. That could be a good show.
Oh.
The Holo, yeah.
Yeah, that holographic computing thing.
Yeah,
that's pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
We've been here for a while. We should go ahead and wrap it up. Charlie.
Did we get through our list? Did we get through our list?
We sure did.
Awesome.
Chuckington,
Yes.
please tell us where we can find you on the internets.
Yes. So once again, my name is Charlie B. Williams III. You can find me at www.cargocollective.com/Charlie B. Williams. My Twitter name is @CBW3. And also, you can also find me doing random videos. I'm part of the outreach team over at cgcookie.com, so we do a lot of different stuff there, and I'm on the forums there.
Fix your camera,
all the
Jack.
time.
We don't want to see your chin.
I'm on the forums there, so check me out there. And yeah, that's where you can find me. Boom. Tyrus, you can speak now.
Mr. Jack.
Again, I'm Jack, Casper Zach. You can find me.
I'm so sad. I'm Jack.
You can find me on. You can find me at Instagram.com/sketchbookjack or just straight up sketchbookjack.com. There's a couple of WordPress and Tumblr things with Sketchbook Jack. I own them all, so just type in the name. You'll find me.
Mr. Tyrus, what you got?
Yeah, you can find me at any time you put in one up. I'm gonna pop up. No, I'm just that's not what this is. Don't try to find me putting in one up. All types of stuff will come up that your mom don't want to see on the computer. You can find me at tigosketch.com on Instagram, tigosketch. If you Google me, tigosketch, I'll show up. Also under Cyrus E4, Cyrus E4 on Twitter, Cyrus E4. So, yeah, there you go.
And I'm Carlos Gomez. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com. You can take a look at my comic strip, Robots, the letter N, aliens.com, and pretty much do a search for Coconut Justice, and you'll see me all over the place.
Love that name.
One other place you can find me, Charlie's Mama's House.
At sign? Was that an at sign at the beginning?
It's at her
Charlie's
address,
Mama's House.
but I already got enough competition, and I don't want the rest of y'all showing up.
Hot mess.
I'm going to be here after the show.
So this concludes our first episode of Sketch Zone, the podcast.
So unprofessional. So
Make sure to hit up the site sketch.zone.
Yeah, go to the site.
Take a look.
Upload.
If you're not ready to upload your artwork, vote. If you're done voting, upload some artwork. And if you win, you'll be able to hang out with us.
Carlos,
how about
tell them about that. Tell them about hanging out with us if they win. Break that down again.
Well, that's what I just said. Have you been listening?
No,
I said do it again. Tell them how it works. Explain it all.
So how it works is you upload your work, and people rank your artwork on a scale of 1 to 10, and we'll take every week and a half, we're going to take a look, and the highest ranking artwork with the most votes, because I'm not trying to, like, someone's going to submit one piece of artwork and they get a 10. No. We're going to take a look at the number of votes with the average score of all those votes. All of that plays into it. And then if you win, you get to come hang out with us, and we'll talk to you, and we'll
Tyrus to talk about your mom.
We'll give Tyrus some medication.
Yeah.
Stop threatening people's mom.
Bring that here, boy.
It was so crazy.
Sketch
No viewers.
Sketch.zone. You can find us also on Twitter at SketchZone. You can go to facebook.com/thesketchzone.
Sketch Zone.
Hit us up. We'll see you out there. Peace.